Details are just emerging from Nigeria on a reported abduction last week of at least 20 women by suspected Boko Haram militants near Chibok. Witnesses say that gunmen drove into the northeastern settlement on Thursday and forced the women into their vehicles. Nigerian officials did not immediately comment on the reported kidnappings. Meanwhile, Nigeria's defense ministry is denying it's limiting press freedoms after being accused of launching a crackdown on the media. 3 Nigerian newspapers said the army had seized parts of their print runs and stopped distribution vans across the country. The newspapers reported on their websites that distribution had been disrupted at Lagos Airport and other hubs in moves reminiscent of military dictatorship in the country. They told Reuters that some of their vans had also been stopped from distributing newspapers to different parts of the country. Defense spokesman Chris Olukolade said the search followed intelligence reports indicating movements of materials with grave security implications across the country using the channel of newsprint-related consignments. But Olukolade rejected reports that the army was trying to stifle free speech, calling the media an indispensable partner in the ongoing counter-insurgency operation and the overall advancement of the country's democracy.
This is not a military clampdown. The military benefits a lot from the freedom of the press and wishes to ensure that it is guaranteed. It's just a feature of the time we are going through. At the moment, we will do what we have to do to ensure the safety of everybody.
The Ministry of Defense said soldiers had searched a number of vehicles for unspecified sensitive material, but insisted it had no intention of stopping the newspapers themselves. Nigeria's military had been under sustained pressure, including in the media, over its response to the Boko Haram insurgency, which has claimed thousands of lives since it began 5 years ago. Attacks by the Islamist militant group have increased, with the military appearing powerless to prevent the bloodshed and nothing positive to report on the over 200 schoolgirls still missing since being kidnapped from their school in April. Well, for more details on the kidnappings and the media complaints, we are joined by Leo Keyen, Chief of VOA's Hausa service. Leo, welcome once again.
Thank you, Vincent.
Now, first, what can you confirm about this reports of abduction of more women in northeastern Nigeria?
Yeah, it's part of the extended problem of not having enough information from authorities. We have a stringer on the ground who told us that this morning all the local journalists around complained that they couldn't reach anybody to confirm the story. They tried to talk to the Nigerian police. The commissioner said he didn't know anything about that. They called people in Chibok, they said they didn't know anything about that. As a matter of fact, a lot of people are saying that the village that is mentioned is non-existent on the map of Borno State.
So perhaps it happened, maybe it did not happen.
Maybe it did not.
But it links very perfectly with what we just talked about in the package, media freedom. Is there restriction of access to information?
It is amazing that this government is shooting itself on the foot, because it started out by saying everybody was talking and sending the wrong signals to the public. Therefore, it was going to channel the information through a committee to reach the public. They did that. Then all of a sudden, all the lines are cut. You can't talk to the soldiers in the field. You can't talk to anybody out there unless you meet either Makori or Chris Kolade. These two are hardly available. So right now, there's like a blank, nowhere to go to.
Now, what is very confusing to me is that Nigeria is a democracy. How is it that the military, the army, can actually disrupt the distribution of newspapers across the country?
Vincent, that's a very sad one. It takes us back to the Makori days when the soldiers used to scrape, the skull of journalists with broken bottles. I mean, how would the soldier under democracy go to a vendor and stop him from selling papers? Well, this is an era of denials. Accusations and denials are everywhere. The soldiers say they don't do that, but the vendors say they do that. So where do we stand on that?
Are the soldiers embarrassed that up to this point they have really nothing to say about any progress regarding the rescue of those girls or stopping the killings?
I think it goes deeper than that, because the stoppage of sales of newspapers came when some 10 generals were accused of being collaborative and selling weapons and whatever to Boko Haram. and the generals were said to have been court-martialed. Now, that story has not gone. It has refused to go. The other issue that we need to look at properly is whether this committee can be accessed readily or easily by anybody.
And we'll continue that conversation. Leo, thank you very much for your insights.
Thanks a lot.
Well, Leo Keyen is chief of VOA's Hausa service.